Hey folks, it's Russ. Today's Thursday, July 17th, 2025. I hope you're having a great day. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about how comfort is keeping you broke and what you can do about it. But if this is your first time to my channel, welcome. I've been involved in the work from home space for 19 years now. It's hard to believe, but 19 years. And I've been working full-time for myself since 2018, and it's my true passion to help other people generate mailbox money using social media and direct mail marketing. So with that being said, most people aren't broke. They're comfortable staying broke, okay? Because I can tell you from experience and from working with a lot of different people over the years that broke is a mindset. Broke is an option, all right? Most people say, you know, they'll use lines like, well, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, or, you know, maybe in my next life I'll have better luck, whatever it may be. But the bottom line is that broke is a mindset. Anybody, all right, anybody can go out there and become wealthy if they really truly want to. But most people, instead of taking action, they would rather scroll on their phone for 2 hours every night or make excuses for why it is that they're not rich or wealthy or have better luck. They'd rather stay, literally, they would rather be in their comfort zone and be strapped with cash, you know, not able to pay bills, can't afford to put food on the table. They'd rather stay stuck in that situation than to put in effort and take massive action to change their life. Broke is fixable, all right? Broke is fixable. It's the comfort that keeps people stuck, because the comfort zone is the excuse zone. And I've heard every single excuse in the book. I talked about this before. I could write a book on excuses that I've heard. And the real excuse is just that people are afraid to step out of their comfort zone. They're so used to living in, or, you know, settling and living in the situation that they're in, that it scares them to think that their life could be any different. And it's sad, really. I mean, it's sad. But I can tell you that money lives outside the comfort zone. Okay? Anything worth having in life, I mean, if you want to be successful, and I'm talking, you know, have time freedom like I talk about, being able to do what you want, when you want, for as long as you want, and not worry about cash flow, you have got to step out of your comfort zone. There's no other choice. There's no other choice, and very few people do it. Out of all the people that I worked with over the years, there's only a handful of people that really stepped out of their comfort zone and stayed out of their comfort zone long enough to get the action, to get the outcome to crush the goals that they had set for themselves. Most people, they might do it temporarily, but then they jump back into that comfort zone because they don't like being outside of it, because it's not their normal, you know? It makes them do things that they wouldn't normally do, you know? Like, oh, how could I do a live video in front of the whole world? You know, how could I possibly call leads on the telephone and ask them if they're interested in my opportunity? It scares them. And I used to be in the comfort zone. I used to be in the comfort zone. The first 10 years of my marketing, I was in the comfort zone. And I would jump from program to program to program to program. I had shiny object syndrome. And I would make a little bit of money here, a little bit of money there. Nothing ever, you know, significant or life-changing or anything that would, you know, allow me to quit my 9-to-5 job at the time. But it was just enough to keep me in the game. And I never stepped out of my comfort zone. I would not call leads on the phone. I would not do videos. And when I started doing videos, you weren't seeing much of my face, and they certainly weren't live videos. I've only started doing live videos just a couple of years ago. But I can tell you one thing, when I decided to step out of my comfort zone, and I decided to throw away the shiny object syndrome, and I committed to one program, and making that one program work, that is when I changed everything. My mindset changed and the results changed. And I was able to quit my 9-to-5 job and go and work for myself. And I've been doing it full time ever since 2018. So the point of this video is that anybody can do this. Anybody can do this. You just have to want it bad enough. And most people, they just fantasize about having that luxurious lifestyle, driving around in the Rolls Royce, you know, living in the 10,000 square foot mansion, traveling all over the world in their private jet. They think about that stuff, but they don't do anything to get there. And the reason they never get there, they'd rather stay broke their whole life than to get out of their comfort zone and take action and do the necessary steps required to change their life. Folks, we only have one life here, as far as I'm aware, and it's super short. Why in the hell would you want to settle for being broke and worrying about bills every single day of your life, or worrying about where your next, you know, how you're going to pay for food to put on the table, or how are you going to pay for new tires that your car needs? Why would you want to go through your life torturing yourself being in that state? Why? I can tell you firsthand, and believe me, I've struggled. I've been broke many times in my life. And I mean broke. Negative bank accounts, credit card debt, very, very, very low credit score. You know, when I was in my early 20s, I suffered from alcohol and drug addiction. I was in and out of 5 or 6 rehabs. All right, I tried committing suicide two times when I was younger. If I can change my life and change my mindset from a paycheck mindset to an entrepreneurial mindset, you can do it. I'm telling you, you can do it, okay? You can do it. Because I've struggled with not having money for rent. I've struggled with having to sell my belongings so I could pay my bills. I've struggled with going without, you know, eating the best foods for a long time. Like I've been there, right? I've been there. I've had the struggles. I've been down to the lowest of the low. And I turned my life around because I made that decision that I didn't want to live my life doing what it was that I was doing. So I made that change in my mindset. And I said, you know what? I'm going to start reading every single book I possibly can on all the successful people in the world. Start watching documentaries about them. Start following what it is that they're doing. And change my life. And that's what I've done. And anybody can do this. You just have to want it bad enough. I wanted it bad enough. I want to leave generational wealth for my family. I want to know that when I'm not here, my daughters are going to be taken care of. My future grandkids are going to be taken care of. Everybody that I know is going to be taken care of in my family. That's what I want. And I get the great pleasure of helping other people supplement or replace their income using direct mail and social media marketing. And I love doing that. It's my passion. I eat, sleep, and breathe it. I eat, sleep, and breathe this stuff. So the one thing that I found in all these books that I read, and all the documentaries I watched, and all the successful people that I studied, the only difference between myself at that time, back before I started having success, and what they were doing is that they committed to showing up every day and staying consistent and riding the roller coaster, no matter, you know, how bad it was or how good it was. They stayed on that roller coaster. They were resilient and they learned how to deal with tough things. And they stayed consistent. They stayed consistent. And each and every one of them stepped outside of their comfort zone. Because I'm telling you what, some of these stories on these people that you see on the Forbes richest list, The stuff that the lives that they had before they got to where they were absolute miserable. And I'm talking, made my life look like, you know, I was living the high life. Okay? So the point is that anybody can be successful. You can be successful. You have to step outside of your comfort zone. Stop worrying about what people think about you. Stop listening to all the negative Nancys telling you what you should and shouldn't do with your life. All right? Most of those people have never done anything to better their own lives. They don't even know what the hell they're talking about, most of them. They mean well, but they don't know what they're talking about. So stop listening to them. They're toxic. Get rid of all the toxic people in your life. Tell your family that you're going to go and lock yourself in the bedroom for the next 3 to 6 to 9 to 12 months and focus on building your empire. And take it as serious as you do anything else in life. Right? Because everybody that has a job just over broke, most of them are dedicated to going to their 9-to-5 job that they hate every single day. And most of them do it for their whole life. And I'm not bashing on jobs. I'm just saying most people will go and do what they do not want to do for their entire life to get a paycheck. Most people will not go and do things that they don't want to do to better their own life. They don't want to step outside of their comfort zone. They're good enough with just going to do their 9-to-5 job. They live for the weekend, and they know that they have a paycheck coming in. Most people will not go and get on that entrepreneurial roller coaster and ride the ups and downs, knowing that at the end of the road, they're going to have a much better life, a life that they can control, a life where they have time freedom, a life they can do whatever they want, when they want, for as long as they want, and not worry about cash flow. They will not suffer through the pain and the hardships to get to that point in life, but they will go and do a job for 30 years that they can't stand for a paycheck. Folks, if your goals do not scare you, they're too small. Okay? Step outside of your comfort zone. Start taking massive action. Stay consistent and build your empire. All right? So that's it for this video. If you found value, please consider giving me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and click that notification bell so you're notified each and every time I upload a new video. All of that helps me out, and I greatly appreciate it. And feel free to share this if you know somebody who might need to hear this message. You know, this is the message that I needed to hear back in the day that changed my life around. So get uncomfortable. Get uncomfortable and get results. Get uncomfortable and get results. And if you need any coaching, if you want to join my newsletter, if you want to join an opportunity that I'm a part of, I can't guarantee you'll make any money because it's totally dependent on your work ethic. You can go to joinruss.com. Right? Joinruss.com. It's my true passion to help you out. Reach out to me with any questions, and let's start building your empire, okay? So with that being said, I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you have a great rest of your day wherever you are, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. So until then, stay well, be safe, and peace be with you. Thanks for watching.